give. The Trump administration is vowing to escalate its targeting of immigrants. White House advisor Stephen Miller is pushing for ICE to make 3,000 arrests a day. He outlined the plan on Fox News last week.
Under President Trump's leadership, we are looking to set a goal of a minimum of 3,000 arrests for ICE every day, and President Trump is going to keep pushing to get that number up higher each and every single day so we can get all of the Biden illegals that were flooded into our country for 4 years out of our country.
We'll spend the hour looking in detail at the Trump administration's plans to target immigrants. On Friday, the Supreme Court ruled the Trump administration could strip the legal status and work permits for 500,000 people from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela who had been granted protection by the Biden administration under the humanitarian parole process. The Supreme Court's ruling is only temporary as lower courts consider the legality of Trump's move. Justices Ketanji Brown Jackson and Sonia Sotomayor dissented. Justice Jackson wrote, quote, "The court has now apparently determined that it's in the public's interest to have the lives of 500,000 migrants unravel all around us before the courts decide their legal claims," she said. We begin today's show with Guerline Joseph, co-founder and executive director of Haitian Bridge Alliance, joining us from Laguna Beach, California. Guerline, welcome back to Democracy Now! Can you explain the significance? It's great to have you with us. Explain the significance of what the Supreme Court ruled.
Shalom. First and foremost, all praises, all power, all glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakaha, Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who teach one rule, who taught me this truth. Peace and salutation to the Akyam, the fellow laborers, the hopeful elect, pushing this truth at risk of the own eyes through the four corners of the earth. And to the Akwat, listening, learning, sincerity, and truth in the sound of Shalom. It's your brother Shema from the James Toronto camp here in Toronto with another lesson. All right, we'll get right into it. Right. This little news clip, soundbite from Democracy Now! Panic, chaos, trauma. Supreme Court of the United States ruling lets Trump strip protections for 500,000 quote-unquote so-called immigrants, right? And this diabolical madman, he's a thief, right? He's a liar, right? Pushing the narrative, we got to send them back to where they came from, right? Meanwhile, you're the ultimate thief. You're the ultimate pillager, right? This is stolen land, right? But what we see taking place is the groundwork is being put in place. It's being set up for draconian measures on the tribes, right? Detention centers, arrests on the tribes, you so-called indigenous, you so-called Latino, you so-called Negro, and speckled bird, right? You Israelites, right? But we know, according to scripture, Esau has a perpetual hatred. Let's open with that. Isaiah 35 and 5 in NLT. Your eternal hatred for the people of Israel led you to butcher them when they were helpless, right? We know when the Israelites came out were delivered from Egypt, they begged via Moses, they begged to pass through their lands, Edom, and Esau showed no pity, right? So it's a perpetual hatred, right? Going back to the womb with Jacob and Esau, going back to when the Babylonians sacked. Let me see if I can get that. It's in Psalms. Psalms. Esau's never, he despised Jacob. He despised Jacob. He said their eternal hatred. It's in Isaiah, Salaki, it's in Psalms 140, Psalms 137. Psalms 137, verse 7, it reads, Remember, O Lord Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yoshai, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, right? When the Israelites were under siege, right? Under when Nebuchadnezzar came and sacked Jerusalem, who said, race it even to the foundation there, right? The Edomites were cheering on. Let me see if we can get that word. Race it. The destruction of the demise of Jacob. NLT, O Lord, remember what the Edomites did on the day the armies of Babylon captured Jerusalem. Destroy it, they yelled. Level it to the ground, right? So it's a perpetual hatred, man. Right? Esau hates Jake, man. And what we see taking place right now is the groundwork being laid for draconian measures. Race it, Strong's H6168. Ra. To bear, be nude, uncover, leave, destitute, discover, empty, raise, pour out. To bear, lay bare. By emptying, empty, to pour out, to make naked, strip bare. To pour out. Right, to strip bare, to level it to the ground. It said in the NLT. Right? To empty it out. Right, sack it. Right, that's what the Edomites were standing by and cheering for the destruction of Jacob. The Israelites, Israel being a people before it's a place. Strong's, bear hence to empty, pour out, demolish, leave destitute. Right. So these Edomites have a perpetual hatred. Right, it even goes further than that. It goes back to to Jacob and Esau. Right, Ezekiel 35. And 5. NLT. Your eternal hatred for the people of Israel led you to butcher them when they were helpless, when I had already punished them for all their sins. Right? So Esau beginning with his elites, right? It's all about a birthright, right? The accuser of thy brethren, right? They're continually complaining and pointing out, look, this is your chosen. Give us back our birthright, right? But the groundwork is being laid for draconian measures, right, to be put in place, right? Mass deportations of the Northern Kingdom, mass incarcerations and detentions, right? I was reading another article. It says here, more than 100 illegal immigrants arrested by ICE at Florida construction sites, right? And you know Jake works in construction, right? Esau knows where to lay wait and lay stings and set traps for Jake.
Good morning, Amy. The Supreme Court rules on Friday literally have unraveled the entire community of over 500,000 people from Venezuela, from Cuba, from Haiti, and from Nicaragua. And we have
You see that? The tribesmen, right? Northern Kingdom, the Levites, right?
seen complete panic, terror, chaos, trauma throughout the United States. It is the biggest mass delegalization in modern history of people who followed every single rules that the U.S. government asked of them to come here, quote unquote, legally. And overnight, the rug has been literally pulled under them, rendered them undocumented, and prioritizing for expedite removal deportation. And this has been a nightmare. I cannot explain to you the level of fear that exists within the community. Children are afraid to go to school. Parents unable to leave their homes to go to work, to go to the hospital. The level of trauma and terror and fear that we are experiencing cannot be explained.
And Darlene, the Biden administration had also.
And listen, Esau's always been in the business of of relocating people, man. Right? What's that scripture in is it Job 18? Or is it 16? Job 24. I'm going to read this in the NLT. Job 24. Listen, this diabolical man hates Jacob. Job 24 and 2. And it reads, NLT, evil people, Esau, Edom, steal land by moving the boundary markers. Right? They change borders. They change zones. They genocide the people. They replace the people with themselves, right? They steal livestock and put them in their own pastures, right? And they steal, they thief, they take everything. Meanwhile, this man's sitting here on the news talking about send them back to where they came from. Meanwhile, you came here, smallpoxed the hell out of the indigenous people who were Israelites, right? Renamed everything, right? Whitewashed everything, right? And then have the nerve to play victim, right? This is Esau's playbook, man. Right? Let's watch some more of this.
The Biden administration had also extended humanitarian parole to tens of thousands of Ukrainians and Afghans as well. Yet the Trump administration is not moving to deal with those humanitarian parole recipients. And what's your sense of, at the same time, the Trump administration admitting white South Africans into the United States as refugees?
Thank you, Juan. I think one thing that I have always said, and I felt like John the Baptist in the desert, screaming that we do not have an immigration issue in the United States.
You see, and that's the most oxymoronish, hypocritical thing, right? That what perceives me to be an Edomite brought out. You know, in one breath you're bringing in white, quote unquote, white, so-called white South Africans under refugee status to America, and you're removing permanent refugee status, immigration status from Northern Kingdom, so-called Nicaraguans, so-called Venezuelans, so-called Cubans, right? So-called Haitians, right? Esau is the biggest hypocrite, victim actor ever. Right? It just goes to show you who he is. But I wanted to get another scripture. The groundwork is being laid for draconian measures. The groundwork is being laid for Esau ruling on the tribes. Ultimately, Esau knows the elect are within the tribe somewhere, but he doesn't know who they are. So he's looking to sweep with a broad brush and just take out everybody. 2 Ezra 16:68. It reads, "For behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you." Right? This burning wrath of the Edomites, beginning with their elites. Right? It's kindled over who? Jacob, the Israelites, Israel being a people before it's a place. "And they shall take away certain of you and feed you, being idle, with things offered unto idols." Right? Jacob's trouble, in FEMA camps, re-education centers, right? You're not going to align with the beast. You're not going to take this C-hip, right? Guillotines are going to be brought out. Persecution. Right? Look, a couple months ago, Trump was boasting of sending immigrants to Guantanamo Bay. Right? Feed you being idle. Being idle meaning what? You're in prisons. You're locked up. You can't move. "And they that consent unto them shall be had in derision and in reproach and trodden under foot." Right? Those that consent to the beast, ultimately, you will be destroyed. Those that consent to the C-hip, you Israelites that consent to the C-hip, ultimately you will be destroyed. "For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord." Right? And what you see is the groundwork being laid by Esau's elites, Esau's Caesar, DT-45, Esau's Supreme Court of the United States, SCOTUS, right? They're using their pen, their executive powers to sign into law, right? Snatching up Jakes from construction sites, from work, right? All in the name of being illegal immigrants, right? The groundwork is being laid for Jacob's trouble, FEMA camps, draconian measures, search and seizure. Where's your papers? You ain't got none? Throw you in a van and drive off. "For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord," right? Upon the Israelites, right? Those that fear the Lord, because the Israelites, their blessing is spirit. Even though there's wicked Jakes out here, right? In their spirit, there's a connection. There's a fear of the Most High Yahweh Shema Shai. Yeah, Jake's wicked out here. That's why you'll see Jake's Jake will be wicked and have a fear of a Most High. He may be calling him by a wrong name, right? But he has a fear of a Most High, right? That's the Israelites, right? So a great insurrection. Let's look at this word insurrection, and we'll close. In the online etymology, an uprising against civil authority, from Old French insurrection, or directly from late Latin insurrectionem, a rising up, right? A rising up. against those, upon those that fear the Lord, right? And we're seeing the beginning stages of draconian measures being signed, executive orders being signed, SCOTUS being signed, right? This is all dress rehearsal. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord, right? These troops, these ICE agents, right? Gurga troops, military troops during the time of Jacob's trouble, they shall be like madmen, sparing none, right? But still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord, Yahweh Bashim El Shai, right? The Israelites, right? Because remember, Esau's elites knows that the elect are within the house of Israel, right? Scripture says, he knoweth he hath but a short time. The devil shall come down with great wrath, because he knoweth he hath but a short time, roughly paraphrasing. Verse 72, for they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses, right? They're going to snatch up Jake, right? It's all about trying to find the elect. We got to kill them all. We got to delete them all. This is going to be Esau's mindset. It says here, madmen spare none, right? Verse 73, then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as a gold in the fire, right? Then shall be known who are my chosen, right? The world's going to know that those that are under persecution, right? Those that are being put under guillotines, right? Because some of the elect are going to be martyrs, right? But the world's going to know that, okay, these people right here that are being persecuted, right? These are the Most High's jewels. So with that, call Allah, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakah, Quadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of great millstone to teach one rule well. Shalom to the elect.